Welcome aboard. It's Captain G for Eggman with another Global War 1939 YouTube War Dark Winter, turn J1. So Japan, for declaration of war, we are going to recognize the legitimate Vichy government of France and declare war on the rebels, the so-called Free French. So that is our one declaration of war, because the government of France has capitulated to our German friends and neighbors. Purchase units. So Japanese starting income is 41 IPP, but their cash on hand for turn one is only 30. So with that, they're going to buy 3 infantry for 9, 1 transport for 7, that's 16 total, and then 2 SNLF for 6 with 2 artillery at 4 each. So that is 14 total, and add those together, most times you'll get 30, which is their full purchase. Declaration of attacks and combat movements. So we've laid out 3 attack territories. The clouds of war have formed over Indochina, Guangxi, and Guangdong, if I'm saying those correctly. So there are going to be a lot of transport movements. I'm going to use every transport here. I'll try to keep them straight, but I do have battle cards laid out so you can track what's happening. So I'm going to move up battle cards 1 and 2 because I'll be placing units on both of those. So 1 is French Indochina and 2 is Guangxi. So I'll put the defenders there. And I'll leave the bonsai dice here because it will remind me later. So the first combat movement from C-Zone 106, which is here off of Formosa. 2 Japanese transports are going to move, of their 3 with the port bonus, 1 into 124 where they will embark troops, 2 move back to where they were, and then 3 move into this Gulf of Tonkin and drop off troops to the 2 attacks. So I'm going to move the 2 transports down directly, and I'm going to bring with them 1 tank, which is going into Guangxi, and 4 infantry, 3 of which are going into Guangxi, and 1 into French Indochina. The chips, and you'll see these cards again when we roll, but I just want everyone to be able to follow along. The next is in C-Zone 91, which is the current C-Zone in question. We had the 2 transports that started there. We're going to send both of them 1 into C-Zone 106, and we're going to embark an elite veteran infantry and a Japanese SNLF, come back and land the 2 SNLF from Hainan Island and Okinawa into Combat 1, French Indochina, and the 2 veteran infantry into Guangxi. Okay. The third movement, yeah, I think that's it for those as far as ground units. The third transport movements then are starting here in 124. We're going to embark 1 artillery and 3 more infantry. So I think this guy's got, yeah, set him up that way. Okay. And they are going to come down to C-Zone 106 and drop them off for a naval invasion onto the 3rd combat in Guangdong, where there are 4 KMT Chinese doing defense. So I will place the 3 infantry and the lone artillery onto that card as well. Then from Shanghai, we have 2 veteran infantry that are crossing the border, joining the battle 3 into Shantung. And then this is Kwangtung. From Shantung, 2 more veteran infantry crossing down, as well as 2 artillery. All right, so now I'm going to do air movements. From here, from Formosa, flying 1, 2, having 3 movement left, but going to land in Shanghai, are 2 veteran fighters joining Battle 3. Three veteran fighters. Let me just make sure this is right. 3 veteran fighters and 1 tactical bomber flying 1, 2, having 3 left to go 1, 2 back to Shanghai. These guys are going into Battle 2. So 3 veteran fighters and attack bomber into Guangxi. All right, we have, I'm just looking at my air. In Battle 3, up here in Kwangtung, this medium bomber flying from Japan 1, 2, 3, and having enough sea legs to fly back to Tokyo. Medium bomber joining Battle 3. All right. The 2 zeros all the way up, get you so you can maybe see those a little better. All the way up here in 125, they're going to fly, they have 5 range. They're going to fly 1, 2, 3, 4 into French Indochina with the expectation of landing in Zone 91 back onto the carriers that will move down in non-combat. So that's 2 Japanese zeros up in Battle 1. Okay. And from Zone 124, we have another 0 and a naval attack bomber. And they are both going to fly also to French Indochina, flying 1, 2, 3, because they start a C-zone closer, and then back to 91 to land. So 3 Japanese naval fighters, zeros, and 1 naval attack bomber now in Indochina. And then finally, the 2 naval attack bombers in 125 are flying into 91. Okay. They're both going to go 1, 2, 3. Now they're in that C zone. 1, 2, 3. And then they can land here or land here. So they'll both join Battle 3. Okay. So that is all the air and ground combat. Now we're going to do naval gunfire support. So the 2 battleships and the 2 cruisers in Zone 124 are going to move down 1, and they will provide naval gunfire support to Battle 3. All right. The 2 cruisers that are there are going to move, that are there in Zone 106 already. They're going to move down to Zone 91, and where there are already 2. And I'm going to have 3 cruisers fire into Battle 2 and 1 into Battle 1. So the French rebels only get the wrath of 1 cruiser, whereas Chiang Kai-shek gets the fury of 3 fully armed and operational battle naval cruisers. Okay, so that's the shore bombardment for these battles. So that's it, with the exception of, let me show you the cards. So there's the cards all laid out, and I had a bonsai dice in each. So I'm declaring for this 1 infantry bonsai, for these 3 infantry bonsai, and for these 3 infantry bonsai. Cannot use the bonsai dice on SNLF or veteran infantry, just on what I call conscript infantry. And that means they attack at a 3, and it is not cumulative with artillery or other combat support, which frees up the artillery to support other units. All right, so let's go over here to our designated Central Asian battle box. And that's ask the forgiveness of the Shah of Afghanistan. Okay, there you go. So I have 1 cruiser firing at a 4 naval gunfire support. Got a 3. That's a waste of a lot of fuel. All right, so that's a hit. Just in case I miscalculated the roll value, I have 3 Japanese zeros at 6. Let me just get overkill so I feel comfortable. There's only 1 French unit. And I got a 3, a 6, and an 11. So, all right, so that's the sufficient overkill for the rebels. And now I'm going to roll a 4 in defense. And the French rolled a 6. So the French rebels go into the kill box, and the Japanese are successful in battle 1 with no casualties. And that puts French Indochina under Imperial Japanese control. Okay, so let's go on to battle 2. I'll take these off and I'll land the planes in non-combat. Japan's relatively easy compared to Germany. There's only 1 impulse. In fact, everyone only gets 1 impulse from now on. All right, there we go. What did I just drop? I dropped a KMT infantry. So here I have the 3 cruisers firing naval gunfire support. KMT has 2 infantry stationed there. So we'll see how they go. I have a 2, 9, and a 9. So that's 1 hit. And let me do my 3 bonsai. I'm really excited about them. 3 infantry. Storm in the beaches. Bonsai! They all missed. They're just running. All right, I have 2 veteran troops that are also attacking at 3 and a tank at a 6. All right, miss on the vets. A 6 got a hit. So that's a 2nd hit. And there's 2 there. Let me just roll for my overkill. I'll roll the 3 veteran fighters and the naval attack bomber. And I got a 1, 3, 4, 7. So there you go. That's 4 more hits. So overkill for KMT. And we're going to roll 2 defending dice at 4. Oh, the Chinese are fighting much better than the French. So that is 1 hit. So we will lose 1 of our conscripts who missed the charge anyway. There you go. All right. So that completes battle 2. I'll take off the Chinese, put them in the kill box, and we'll pull up card 3. Battle card 3 is all the way in the north now. We've been working south to north. We've been working through French Indochina, Guangxi. Now we're up to Guangdong. So this is where the KMT had the largest force outside of their capital. 4 infantry. And let me make some room so you can see them, because we have lots of different units. Okay. So 2 battleship and 2 cruiser shore bombardments. And I can do that because I have 4 ground units going ashore in the amphibious assault. Is that right? I think so. Yeah. You know what? I don't think I did that right. So I'm not gonna roll for the 2 cruisers because somehow, no, I did it right. I have 2 transports there. That could be 4 units. I did that right. Okay. Just when you start making errors, you start questioning everything you do because you don't want to do bonus corrective videos. All right, so I'm going to roll 2 4s and 2 6s. This is shore bombardment from the Imperial Japanese Navy. Look at that. 2 battleship hits, 2 cruiser misses. So I'll take those 2 hits, take these off. I'm going to go ahead and do the 3 bonsai charging infantry because it's just fun. And if the planes get the kills, I don't get to do it. Bonsai, 499. It's fun, but not effective. All right, now let's roll for 2 veteran fighters at 7 and 2 naval attack bombers, tactical bombers, also at 7. So I'm going to roll 4 7s. Why did I use green dice? But I wasn't looking. So I did get 2 hits. So that's 4 hits. Plus the 2 I had. So yeah, that is 4 hits. And I'll just roll the 2 for the bomber to make sure I didn't miss something for overkill. They both missed. All right. So I think I got them. I still have 1, 2, 3, 4 veterans, 3 of them supported by artillery. But what I will do is I will roll 4 Chinese infantry and defense at 4. And I see a 7, 5, 12, and a 1. So that is 1 casualty for Japan. No, they're not taking the bomber, getting the bomber out of the way. They're taking in infantry. Okay. That goes into the chip version of the kill box. And that completes all of our combat movements. Where'd the sculpt go? Here we go. Okay, so let's go back over here and I will restore the units that moved for shore bombardment. Okay, so now we're going to do non-combat. You probably already noted that I have a number of destroyers paired up with their Tokyo Express. Okay, so in this game, 2 destroyers working together can carry 1 infantry's worth of troops, and I have a number of troops still on the home islands that need to be carried around. So I'm going to start all the way up in Sea Zone 125, where I have 2 destroyers taking 1 infantry, and so 2 destroyers, they're going to take 1 infantry, 1, 2, 3 into Sea Zone 91, and they will drop him off in Saigon to take possession on behalf of our loyal friends in France, that territory. All right, the 2 destroyers in Sea Zone 124 also embarking in infantry from the home island, and they're going to go 1, 2, 3 down to Sea Zone 85 and drop this infantry off to encourage the King of Siam to join and align with the Japanese Empire. All right, let's go back. We still have the Tokyo Express in C-Zone 91, and that unit is moving up to C-Zone 123, 1, 2. So I'll just take these guys up, 1, 2. And they're moving one of the Korean infantry across to Shantung. All right. And then the last batch, which is here in Formosa, they're going to move up from C-Zone 106. Also, they're going to go 124, 123, and they're going to bring this infantry over. So I'll put him there like that. Okay. So that clears the home islands of all infantry. I still got a guy here in Korea. That's all of the Tokyo Express. For the last combat or non-combat movements for the Kita Butai, the 2 super carriers, fleet carriers, moving out of 125, 1, 2, 3. They're moving down to 91. So they can land the aircraft coming off of French Indochina, all those naval air units. So 3 fighters and 1 naval tactical. Good. These 2 escort carriers are going to come down to 105. With this battleship, and I'll get a card to put the fleets together later. And the 2 naval tactical bombers that went into Shantung will come out, and I'll land on 1 of each. Okay. And for the folks viewing, I try to use white for naval and green for Army air, so I can tell the difference. I'll also, just in case there's any confusion, put the blue bead. So you can see the blue bead with the yellow means fighter, blue bead with the orange means torpedo bomber, versus not having the blue. Just to help keep this straight, because there's a lot of unique air units down here. So I think that's all the carrier movements. All right, so now let me put the Central Pacific into view. We're going to do some exercises, freedom of movement and navigation from C-Zone 95. We're moving 1, 2 to C-Zone 113. So 1 submarine from 95 through 114 to 113. 2 submarines in 114 to 113. 1 submarine from 125 moving 1, 2, 3 to 113. 1 submarine from C-Zone 106 moving 1, 2, 3 to 113. The only submarine that starts the game in the Japanese Navy that cannot make it is the C-Zone 91 submarine, and he is moving up to 106. Okay, and the destroyer in C-Zone 95 will move 1, 2, 3, also joining that submarine in C-Zone 106. So that should complete all of the naval movements. Let's do some final ground movements. Oh, I know what I did. I did that wrong. I think the second one of these transports pulled a guy off Korea instead of Japan, and that was a mistake. Or they were supposed to pull him from, they pulled him from Japan instead of Korea, I believe. That was the mistake. And the reason I say that, and I'll go back and double check, is I still had this transport who was supposed to fly that last guy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So there should be 3 infantry here. The 2 from Korea on these and the 1 off this. But I'll go back. I may have mixed it up in my notes. I apologize if I did. I'll let my partners know which way it goes immediately after when I do my disposition of forces. All right, here in Manchuria, I'm sending 3 infantry and an artillery from Manchuria to Dalan, and 3 veteran infantry from Shanxi back to Dalan. They are my QRF. All right, that bothers me. I can't figure that out now, but okay. Let me finish landing my fighters because I realize I still have some on my card. I've got these 3 cruisers I got to put back in the C zone. They already moved. And then the veteran fighters and the tactical bomber, whether from Kwangtung or Guangxi, are all landing back in Shanghai, as I outlined in the original combat movements. And the medium bomber is flying back to Tokyo. Again, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You got a movement of 6. All right, I think that should do it. I will place the units in the territories and give a status of forces for where the Japan ends, and I'll clarify that non-combat movement if I mess that up. But with the Japanese income, let me move this closer to the screen so you can see where we are. All right, we started at 41, so that's what this stack is. Between Siam and our Vichy French territory activations, that's 6 more. So 41 and 6 is 47. And then we picked up KMT and Free French Rebels, another 3. So that's a grand total of 50 IPP. That should complete the turn. Next up is the Rodina, Mother Russia. For Eggman, I'm Captain G. Before I signed off, I didn't place my units. I apologize. I had it written down. I didn't check the box. So the transport starts here, and everyone else is in. I'm going to start the 3 infantry in Tokyo with the air transport, and the artillery and the SNLF in Fukuoka. Sorry for that. Okay, glad I caught it before the end. All right, so now next up is Russia. For Eggman, I'm Captain G. Over and out.